Delinquent. The extraordinary journey of a troubled teenager. From everyday life comes one life. Next Wednesday at 10:35 on BBC One.
The Science Zone on BBC One begins in a few minutes. Explore a string of exotic islands surrounding Australia. It's wild down under. A world view on the weather. First on BBC One with Michael Fish.
Hello there. If you're watching last night, you may recall I mentioned how a developing weather system had already brought some very heavy rain to parts of the eastern areas of the United States, and it was set to bring even more, and that's turned out to be the case. Here we are on the satellite picture, quite a nasty large swirl of cloud, and it's clocked up 110 millimetres of rain in Maine during the space of only 6 hours. That's over 4 inches. Now that system's going to continue to move away, but in the process some of that rain will be turning to sleet and snow, because as it moves away it will be pulling in cooler area from the Canadian Arctic, so the temperature of 21 degrees there doesn't look like being repeated, at least not in the near future. That cooler air spreading down towards the Great Lakes and across into eastern Canada. Further south across the United States it remains warm and dry and sunny, but you can see the temperature in Ottawa dipping down to 6 degrees or so. Moving across the Atlantic and into Europe, most of the weather activity is actually through the Mediterranean. Fairly clear skies across most of Western Europe, sufficient for the temperature to soar to 25 degrees at Orange in the south of France. The high pressure is going to be dominating the weather for most of Europe, including the British Isles, in the next few days. Unfortunately, though, it is pulling cool air around it, and that's heading in towards Britain. But it's a fine story for much of Europe in the next day or two. The Mediterranean remains less settled, continuing to have those showery bursts of rain. Zooming in towards the British Isles, we pick up earlier on some patchy cloud, but that cloud's, I think, the most we're going to see in the next few days. A little bit of it around for the rest of the night, chiefly near to eastern coast. And the main thing about the overnight weather is that it's going to stay windy, so that should prevent the temperatures from falling too low. One or two sheltered spots might just about manage a touch of ground frost and patches of cloud too along the east coast. And it's the wind that's going to feature in the weather for the next few days, coming in from the east or the southeast, particularly strong in central and southern areas, dying away in the more northern parts of the country. So that means to say at night at least it will get colder and colder, and frost becoming more widespread as we head in towards the weekend, even some air frost beginning to show up. As for Thursday, some patches of cloud rolling in from the North Sea on that wind along those eastern coasts. Otherwise it's going to be a dry day with a good deal of sunshine virtually nationwide. But if you keep the cloud and that strong wind, it's going to feel quite chilly, best temperature about 12 degrees or so. Elsewhere with the sunshine 14 or 15, about average for the time of year, but again you'll need to keep out of the wind and in the sun to get the benefit. For Friday we keep the cloud rolling into those eastern coasts. Everywhere else dry with a good deal of sunshine. The cloud getting steadily thicker though, so I think by the time we get to Saturday it might be a little bit on the grey side as well along some of those eastern coasts. Otherwise again it's a case of a chilly start and then dry and sunny, but still that breeze keeps going in the south. A little bit of rain moving into Shetland, and I think that's a weather system coming down from the north, another one easing up from the southwest, so that by Sunday we're going to find some showers heading into northern areas, showers getting close to the southwest, but in between at least one more day of fine and sunny weather. That's all from me. Let me wish you all a very good night.
Steve Collins, former world super middleweight boxing champion with 36 wins and 21 knockouts. But who's the tough guy in the gym? Not Steve Collins. Britain's top sporting heroes battle it out to see who is the strongest, the fittest, the quickest, and who isn't. Superstars starts tomorrow at 8 on BBC One.
There are two halves to David Dickinson when he faces the magician's saw. Bargain hunts with BBC One in 50 minutes. A world of incredible variety. First on BBC One, the weird and wonderful wildlife of explosive, exotic and icy islands.